The night was cold, rain pounding against the cracked windshield of an old sedan crawling down a lonely highway. Inside, a young mother, Emily, gripped the steering wheel tightly, her eyes heavy with exhaustion. In the back seat, her little daughter, Lily, was wrapped in a blanket, softly humming to distract herself from the growling hunger in her stomach. Then, sputter, cough, silence. The car shuddered to a stop. Emily's heart sank. "No, no, not now," she whispered. With no signal, no light for miles, and no money for a tow, she rested her head on the steering wheel, fighting back tears. Moments later, headlights appeared behind them. A sleek black SUV pulled over, and a tall man in a suit stepped out, holding an umbrella. Emily froze. He didn't look like someone who belonged on this road. "You okay, ma'am?" he asked gently. I think the engine's dead," she stammered. The man smiled faintly, removed his jacket, and rolled up his sleeves. Within minutes, he had the hood open, hands covered in grease. Rain poured harder, yet he didn't stop until the engine coughed back to life. Emily stared in disbelief. "Why would someone like you?" he simply said. "Because someone once helped me, too." Before she could thank him properly, he was gone, just taillights fading into the storm. Lily peeked out the window and whispered, "Mommy, he looked like a prince." Emily smiled weakly. "Maybe, sweetheart. Maybe he was." A week later, Emily stood nervously in the grand lobby of Harper Industries, one of the biggest tech firms in the city. Her clothes were neat but worn, and her resume trembled slightly in her hands. She had applied for a receptionist job, anything to give Lily a stable life. "Ms. Collins?" the assistant called. "Mr. Harper will see you now." Her heart pounded as she walked into the sleek office. Behind the large glass desk sat a man reviewing documents, his back turned to her. "Please, have a seat," he said, voice calm but firm. As he turned around, Emily froze. The same sharp jawline, same kind eyes, it was him. The man from the highway. Her mouth fell open. You're the one who fixed my car." He looked up, momentarily surprised, then smiled slowly. "I thought I recognized that voice. How's the car holding up?" Emily laughed nervously, her cheeks flushing. "Still running, thanks to you." He leaned back, studying her for a moment. "You didn't mention that on your application." "I didn't think it mattered," she whispered. "It does," he said softly. "Because people who keep going, even when everything's against them, those are the ones I want on my team." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Are you saying?" He nodded. "Welcome to Harper Industries, Ms. Collins." As she left his office, a rush of relief and disbelief filled her chest. For the first time in months, she felt hope. That evening, when Lily came running into her arms, Emily smiled and whispered, "Remember the man who fixed our car? He just fixed our future, too." Emily adjusted quickly to her new job at Harper Industries. She was efficient, polite, and humble, traits that didn't go unnoticed by the CEO, Ethan Harper. But what caught his attention most was the quiet strength in her eyes, a kind of resilience that spoke louder than words. One afternoon, Ethan passed by the employee lounge and paused. Through the glass, he saw Emily sitting alone with her lunch, a simple sandwich wrapped in foil. She wasn't eating much. Instead, she was on a video call with Lily, who was showing her a drawing. "Mommy, that's the man who fixed our car." Lily giggled, holding up a crayon sketch of Ethan beside their old sedan. Emily laughed softly. "Yes, baby. He's my boss now." Ethan smiled faintly, unseen from the hallway. He didn't mean to eavesdrop, but something about their warmth pulled him in. Later that day, he called Emily into his office. "You have a wonderful daughter," he said kindly. "Lily, right?" Emily nodded, surprised. "Yes, sir. She's everything to me." He hesitated. "Does she have someone to watch her after school?" Emily's smile faltered. "Usually the neighbor helps, but it's been hard lately." Ethan nodded thoughtfully. "There's a daycare center our company sponsors. It's open to employees. No cost." Her eyes widened. Sir, I can't thank you enough. He shook his head gently. You already did, when you kept going. That evening, as Emily tucked Lily into bed, the little girl whispered, Mommy, he's nice. Maybe he's an angel. Emily brushed her hair back and smiled. Maybe, sweetheart. But even angels need hearts like his to walk the earth. A few weeks passed, and Emily had begun to feel at home at Harper Industries. She was respected, valued, and for the first time in years, genuinely happy. But there was something about Ethan Harper that always seemed distant. Kind, yes, but burdened. One rainy evening, Emily returned to the office to retrieve a forgotten folder. Most lights were off, except the faint glow coming from Ethan's office. She hesitated, then gently knocked. He looked up, startled, quickly wiping something from his desk, a faded photograph. I didn't mean to interrupt, she said softly. It's all right, he replied, his voice quieter than usual. I was just remembering. She stepped closer, noticing the picture, a younger Ethan beside an old, rusty pickup truck, a smiling older man with grease-stained hands beside him. That's my father, Ethan said after a pause. He was a mechanic. We didn't have much growing up. He taught me to fix engines before I learned to drive. Emily's eyes softened. He must have been proud of you. Ethan smiled faintly. He was, until I left to chase the business world. I thought success meant never getting my hands dirty again. But that night when your car broke down, I remembered who I used to be. For a long moment they sat in silence, two souls from different worlds, connected by something deeper than circumstance. Finally, Emily whispered, Maybe your father sent you that night. Maybe he wanted you to remember. Ethan's eyes glistened. Maybe he did. That night, as Emily drove home, the rain tapping against the windshield, she realized that even those who seem to have everything sometimes need to be reminded of what truly matters. Months later, Harper Industries hosted its annual employee celebration, a grand event where awards were given to recognize dedication and compassion. Emily attended nervously, wearing a modest blue dress and holding Lily's tiny hand. When the CEO stepped onto the stage, the crowd fell silent. Ethan looked across the room, his eyes landing on Emily and her daughter. He smiled, then began speaking. This year, we honor someone who reminds us that strength doesn't always wear a suit. Sometimes, it wears humility, and never stops trying. He paused. Emily Collins, please come up here. Gasps filled the room. Emily's heart raced as she walked up with trembling hands. Ethan continued. When I met Emily, she was stranded on a highway with her little girl. That night reminded me of who I used to be, and what kindness can do. He turned to her and said, Emily, you've shown this company more heart and courage than any business degree ever could. Starting today, you're being promoted to Community Relations Manager, leading our new outreach program for single parents. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Sir, I don't know what to say. Just keep being you, Ethan replied softly. Lily tugged her mother's hand and whispered into the microphone. Mommy, that's the man who fixed our car. The audience erupted in laughter and applause. Ethan knelt beside Lily with a warm smile. And maybe, he said gently, you two fixed something in me too. That night, as they walked home under the city lights, Emily looked at her daughter and whispered, See, sweetheart? When you lead with kindness, life always finds a way to thank you back. And for the first time, she believed it completely.